Hello everyone, and welcome back to Network 27. I'm Alderman Walter Burnett, Alderman of the 27th Ward. As you know, we've been doing this for maybe almost 20 years. We want to thank you all for viewing. We also want to thank all of the folks who help us to put this show together. Just got a couple of things I want to tell you about. You may want to look at our email, our e-blast, or our website at our office. We're starting to have the Jazz in Seward Park. I don't know if this show is going to show before the first date, which is June the 9th. I think the other one may be June the 17th. It's over at Seward Park on Orleans and Division. Everybody just come out and kick it. You know, some folks come out with their wine and their cheese, and the other guys just have their bottle in their back pocket, you know. But it's a great event. It brings all types of people together and just listen to some nice music, have a good time, sit in the grass. It's a great way of bringing everyone together in the neighborhood. You can call my office if you want more information. Also wanted to tell you about our, again, our annual Clean and Sober, well, our monthly Clean and Sober Step and Set, which is held at the Salvation Army over on Chicago Avenue in Christiana. I think it's going to be Friday, the 23rd of June, from 8 until 11. Come and get your step on. Let's help and celebrate the folks who's not drinking or getting high or all those things. Let them know that they can have a good time with us and feel good about themselves without doing those type of things. The last set, you know, every month is getting bigger and bigger. Man, there's some good steppers there. Matter of fact, I picked up a lot of moves. You know, everybody do their own thing. I know some folks were stealing my moves. I was stealing their moves too. So myself and my wife, we just love it. It's great exercise, and people of all ages can come and just have a good time. Of course, we serve some refreshments. We put out a table of fruit and cheese and other things like that, and we sell water to give money back to the Salvation Army. But it's a great event. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we want to introduce you to some great innovative things that's happening in the city. You may have heard of a couple of places where folks can be creative at. One is 1871. Another place is the UI Labs. Well, I don't know if you ever heard of mHUB. And we're going to tell you about mHUB. mHUB is the company, to me, the space that connects the dots. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Haven Allen. Haven, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So Haven, tell us about yourself and where you come, where and when did you come up with this idea?
So mHUB.
First, tell us about you.
Sure. You know, for the past few years, I've been engaged in strategy, and specifically economic development strategy at World Business Chicago, where I was focused on the manufacturing sector. So we've actually, you know, had some previous engagement with other programs like 1,000 Jobs campaign, where, you know, we're looking at ways of how do we grow the industry, both from like a people, process, and product sort of standpoint. With that, launching training programs, apprenticeship programs, job placement programs. For the process innovation, you know, we're looking at how do we make our manufacturers the most efficient so they can compete on a global environment, and launch things like UI Labs, which is all about taking the manufacturing process, capturing more data along that process so that you can make decisions and make it more efficient. And then here we're looking, we're noticing, you know, trends in decrease in R&D investment, decrease in the number of patents.
So R&D investment is research and development.
Absolutely, right. Research and development. And the number of new companies and new products that were being launched out of Chicago was decreasing, which didn't give us great outlook on our industry. And manufacturing employs over 400,000 people. It's hugely important, generates about $80 billion for our regional, gross regional product. So it's generating economic value, but it's not growing at a rate that we need.
But hold up, man. So hold up. I know you're excited about this place, but I'm excited about this place, but I'm also inspired by you starting this. How did you start it? I know you worked, what were you doing before you did the 1,000 Jobs? Where were you working at?
So Yeah, my sort of career path has been a little bit all over the place.
Are you like a business major? Or?
I was a political science major at the University of Illinois at Chicago.
Okay, so you're a Chicagoan.
Yeah.
You're native Chicagoan.
From the suburbs, moved in during college.
All right.
You know, first got my first job internship was with a gubernatorial candidate, where I worked on sort of his northwestern Cook County office. Worked in 11 different townships, 5 different city wards, and through that got engaged on lots of ways of running a business because I ran my own office there. And after school launched a production and publishing company. So put on large-scale productions like New Year's Eve parties at Navy Pier.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then published a magazine called the Chicago Lifestyle. Had about a readership of around 20.
You did Chicago Lifestyle?
I did Chicago Lifestyle.
Man, you just jump out there, huh?
Yeah, so there's about 25,000 readers for that.
So did you grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth? Are you a rich kid or something?
No, first I threw a party and it went well when I was doing productions. Threw another party and it was steamrolling. We developed the publication as a means of growing our network and start pushing out sort of content that we thought was missing in the market. I did that for about 5 years and then joined the Peace Corps. Where I went down to Panama, was stationed in a former Chiquita banana plantation community. Chiquita had been working there for about 100 years. They had the soil there had become diseased.
So that's the bananas?
Yeah, bananas, yeah.
You probably don't like bananas anymore.
Well, there was no bananas there anymore.
Okay.
The whole place was diseased.
Wow.
And Chiquita basically ran it down into the ground, then sold it to the workers there, not letting them know that the only way that the plants would produce is if they were putting very dangerous chemicals on those plants.
Wow.
And so Chiquita left there 5 years before I got there. Basically, the economy went from 45,000 people full employment. They lost half their population. There was absolutely no employment. And people had become subsistent, basically growing food in their front yards and backyards just to survive. And I was placed there to help people learn about business principles, write business plans, take some of their subsistent activities and create sort of a local economy and trade going on again there. After that, went to the University of Michigan where I studied public policy, specifically economic policy.
So you got your master's there?
Got my master's in public policy. Also a graduate certificate in science and technology. Between my first and second year, I got accepted to the mayoral fellowship program, where I worked.
So what's a fellowship?
So it's
everybody don't know what a fellowship is.
Yeah, it's a glorified internship.
Right.
Yeah, where for the way the mayor ran his, which was amazing. Like you got access to.
So which mayor was that?
Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
Okay.
So it was in 2012. We had exposure to lots of different departments throughout the city of Chicago. So like, the police department briefed us. We went out to O'Hare. We went out to transportation. Everybody kind of told us, what were some of the issues that they were trying to attract to become more efficient, cost-effective, and serve more people. And then we also got to work on different programs. So I provided a lot of analysis for like the Lois Scott, who used to be the chief financial officer, and then also did some things with public safety. So did some like cost benefit analysis of the whole municipal electricity decision where the city decided whether or not they should buy electricity on behalf of the 2.5 million people here in Chicago as a means of reducing the cost of energy. And it was slightly controversial to do. And
right.
I looked at it just purely, what would be the benefits to our citizens, right? And it ended up being $300–400 million in savings, but it was done so at like a $2 to $4 per month that most of the constituencies didn't realize that they actually got a savings. But collectively, when you aggregate that, that's a lot more money staying in Chicago people's hands. So worked on things like that, the municipal marketing, did some things with CAPS as well, which was awesome. I got to do a night ride with a police officer down in like Washington Park area. And then went back to school, finished off there. And
man, you've been to school a long time.
Yeah,
you did a lot of school, man.
That's true.
Even at UIC. Did you get a PhD or what?
I did not. I've been in school long enough to have a couple PhDs. But Yeah, then went to, after school I got a job at World Business Chicago as one of their economic development strategists.
And World Business Chicago is a organization that...
It's an economic development firm chaired by Mayor Rahm Emanuel, but then made up of about 70 different executives from across Chicago. And very much in that public-private mindset where they're looking at ways of growing the economy both from revenue and a job standpoint and in partnership with the city, but trying to remove some of the politics. So we worked with the county very closely. We worked with the state and the city to drive growth throughout the region. And my focus was in manufacturing. So worked there for about 2.5 years. And as I started off, noticing some trends that were making it look like our outlook wasn't great in manufacturing. We weren't going to continue growing. So we needed to do some sort of intervention. And on top of that, we were looking at data at LinkedIn, where LinkedIn.
At LinkedIn?
Yeah, we had the raw data. So how
LinkedIn has data?
Yeah, like every time you apply, or every time you have a profile, we know what degree you were, what jobs you have, where you move. And we were looking at that data to see where people from Chicago were leaving, because we were noticing people were coming here to be educated, and then they weren't staying here. And especially with our engineers, the rate was huge. The Northwestern engineers were leaving, University of Chicago graduates, Loyola. Oddly enough, UIC students stay here in Chicago, absolutely, which is great. But we wanted to create a center where both entrepreneurs and engineers that wanted to create products and businesses based off of products, as well as manufacturers who had all sorts of problems that they need to engage with innovative people, can come and create. I know with manufacturing, unlike a place like 1871, there's a huge barrier to cost, right? The equipment in this room costs a lot of money, and people don't have access to it unless they work at a manufacturing company. So we wanted to aggregate a lot of resources here and then make them available to the public. So, we have about $2.5 million worth of assets here.
$2.5 million.
$2.5 million. I think we've spent 10% of that. So the industry itself has been giving, and they're hopeful that this will be a place where people can get trained, where people will come create new business opportunities, but then they can engage to solve their problems. And we've only been open officially since March. I mean, you joined us for the announcement in August when we moved in, where this facility used to be Motorola's cell phone prototyping lab.
Right.
You'd walk by this building, you wouldn't know what was in it. There was no windows. It was a very secure place. We went through.
They didn't want no one to know their secrets. Their new technology coming out.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they had 192 cameras in the ceiling. You couldn't walk in or out of the lab with going through a metal detector. But we took what they had as a very sort of secure asset and have opened it up, and now it's a public asset. Like this is a community place, and it's been amazing to see how it's evolved. I know we had 50 members at the beginning of the year. At launch, there were 100 members here. Now we're at 189. As soon as our new offices come online, we'll be at 200 next week.
So where would the new offices be?
They're just on the other side. Yeah, they're micro offices, right? Because you don't need a bathroom, a kitchen, conference room.
Table.
Yeah, you just need a table, and if you want some private space. So it's like anywhere between 100 square feet to 300 square feet, but then you have access to this whole facility.
So this is like, so when I came in here, I see all these people just sitting around, looking on their computers, lounging. You know, it kind of reminds me sort of like a creative college campus almost. But so it's like a new wave sort of manufacturing creative place, right? Where you can just come and everybody not walking around with white jackets on and glasses on and all of those things. People just doing their stuff and connecting with each other.
Absolutely.
So tell us. So you did all of that. You went from 1,000 jobs, and then you came over here. This was your idea. What made you start this?
It was we'd built an advisory council for Chicagoland Manufacturing. It was chaired by Deputy Mayor Koch, President Ramirez from the Chicago Federation of Labor, Steve Kirsten, who owns Water Saver Faucets, and Dave Boulay. And collectively, we were trying to solve sort of those barriers from having our industry grow. And having a vibrant ecosystem around physical product innovation was definitely lacking. We threw out an RFP in February of 2015. Instead of just creating something new, we wanted to see what was out there. Got 28 different organizations to respond to that. One of them, a group called Catalyze Chicago. This was an incubator that was started at 650 West Lake Street. It was 7 entrepreneurs that came together, left their apartments where they were trying to be entrepreneurs in physical products, and collectively opened a 2,000 square foot facility. I think they had a couple drill presses, a laser cutter. Over the course of 2 years, those 7 people grew to over 180 people.
Wow.
They launched 60 different businesses, generated over $50 million in revenue,
wow.
and got over $20 million in investment capital. So a lot of economic activity was created in this very small place. That group was one we teamed up with and now have merged as one, in addition to our local universities, research labs, and other manufacturing partners to build this. So we knew what we wanted to create. We didn't know how all the pieces would be assembled, and we used that RFP and the community's ideas to create the foundation of this place. But we're evolving right now. I know we're just starting to get into programming, right? So our first 6 months was we had to build the building, we had to build the IT systems and the organization. But now we're looking at, like, what is the education offering that we can provide both our members and general public. Some things that we've already done. We've done, finance for startups, how to write a business plan, intellectual property, and these courses are all free. You don't need to be a member to join them, and they're put on by the corporate partners that are giving back to the community. We're also building out a mentorship program as well, where we want those people who have been successful and have gone through some of the same growth issues to now give back and have access. And then our community engagement, which is going to be huge, is we're looking at ways of engaging people that maybe don't know that they are entrepreneurs in physical products, and expose them to this space. So we've been doing open houses. We're going to start doing CNC training here on site with
what is CNC training?
Computer numerical control. So
okay.
Essentially it's taking an old drill press, putting data behind it in computers to control its movements. And that's how that's what's being utilized to cut through metal these days. And then in addition, we're going to be piloting a program with CPS this summer, where they're bringing 25 students here for 10 weeks. There'll be freshmen, sophomores, and seniors doing some entry-level manufacturing training. There'll be some certification, but they'll be here on site Monday through Wednesday every day. And our goal is to make this a place where CPS can offer classes in entrepreneurship and physical products, similar to what they do with Gallery 37, where Gallery 37 is a space in the city of Chicago where you can go take painting, photography, and all sorts of arts-related programming that individual CPS schools couldn't afford to offer, but everybody in the district can come to this one school to take it, and we want to have that as part of the offering that we have here.
So, you know all about this place. I know a little bit about it. We need to back up and tell the viewers, give them an idea what actually happens here.
Yeah.
What's actually going on? I mean, you have a place, you have a whole bunch of equipment. What type of equipment do you have?
Yeah, we have 10 different labs here. The first one, our largest, is an electronics lab. With that, you have everything for the prototyping stage, oscilloscopes that test different spectrums.
So you get it.
Like
so we're all act like we're all like 3 years old, and you're trying to explain it to us, because we don't know all that jargon.
Yep.
Right. So you have labs. The electronic labs are a lab where they work on the
circuit boards. And
circuit boards, right? And
so,
circuit boards are the things that go into other
absolutely
things to make them work.
If you ever open any sort of electronic device, you'll see the green board with all sorts of components on that. So we have a system here that makes those.
Wow.
And we can do cheaper than anywhere in the United States
and
the world. Yeah. So through our partnership with an existing organization where we acquire a business, that is one system. There's an additional cost. It's $150 an hour to run. But if you were to be quoting that out in like Asia, you're looking 250 plus an hour to run. The rest of the United States, you're around $750.
So we're beating Asia, huh?
We're beating Asia, absolutely. And we're doing, like, mHUB is subsidizing that because we want people here creating electronic related products. All those connected devices, the drones, the robotics, things with autonomous vehicles, like things with electronics, yeah, you'll be able to have access to the tools here.
So what's a drone? The thing that flies in there? So you know, I mean, that's a drone.
That's a drone.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a company, there's a couple of companies. One that's making fixtures for drones that will fly over rooftops and be able to survey rooftops in order to figure out how to assemble and set up different solar panels. We have one that's developing LiDAR technology. So LiDAR is the way computers look at things. So it's like our eyeballs, and they can create patterns based on how they push out light and the reflection that comes back to you. It creates images. It's how, our robots, our AVs, that we're creating vision for machines. It's called LiDAR. They're utilizing that technology to, again, survey buildings, work in warehouses, and be able to monitor things.
So you have a lot of equipment here where folks can come, if they have an idea, if they have an invention, right, that they can come here and maybe create it.
Yep.
So I know you have, what you call it, where you put the thing in a computer and it cuts it up and make it, what do you call those?
The CNCs, CNC machines.
The CNC machines?
Yeah.
But they call it something else. Well, anyway, now you can draw something, you put it in the computer and it'll build it.
The 3D printers.
3D printers.
Absolutely.
You have the 3D printers, you have microscopes, you have all kind of technology.
Laser cutters.
Laser cutters. So anybody who wants to invent something, they can come here.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you have a lot of other people here who's like supportive.
Yeah.
If like, I got an idea, I think I got a little prototype of a creation that I made, but I really don't know how to get it off the ground.
Yep.
I can come here and there may be some other people to help me with some of give me some technical support.
Absolutely. I know, one great example, there was a company called Guard Llama. They make a panic remote fob button that if you click it twice, it sends a signal to your phone and then calls a call center. So it's like a more sophisticated life alert, right? This was a student that came out of Northern Illinois with just the idea for the product. He came here, we connected him with a couple engineers who they bartered services, trade equity.
So they trade services.
They trade services. They created his prototype. He built a business around that. He was responsible still for building the business, but they created the technology. And then on Good Friday, he was on Shark Tank, got a deal for $100,000.
Is that right?
Yeah, and it was completely just had the idea.
Fantastic.
And came here and was able to connect with the engineers to help them. And they're the 189 members here, they're all bartering services and trading. So
then you may have, I just met a young man outside who have a business support company, right? Where he helped people to come up with business plans. And
absolutely.
So you have a whole lot of technical, people may have an idea, they may not know how to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
Right? So you have marketing people here too?
There are lots of different services from, your supply chain, business plan writing. There are other people who focused on venture capital and things like that.
Venture capital is where you get the money from.
Yeah.
Folks with money that want to invest.
Yeah, usually the progression here is you create a product, you start a crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter or Indiegogo.
So those are websites?
Those are websites where you say, I'll make this.
For money.
Yeah, you ask people for money, but they get a product.
Right,
yeah.
they get a product.
You get a product out of it.
Or
but
they get a piece of the product, they invest in it.
They're not investing, they're saying, I'm interested in this technology, I believe in this idea, and I'm going to be the first person to buy it. So it's a way of validating that you have a customer, right?
Okay.
That somebody wants your product. So a lot of people will start there, sell a couple hundred, which we have a company right here that makes a mosquito trap. And they joined 6 weeks ago, created a mold here, prototyped their trap. They just did a Kickstarter, raised $15,000. So $15,000 worth of people thought their product was valuable and willing to test it out, and now they're doing all their manufacturing here on site. So it allows you to validate, get those customers, which then allows you to go out to those investors. Absent of that, it's harder in hardware to get a high valuation without some sort of market validation.
Yeah. So when you talk about manufacturing, you know, when people think about manufacturing, they think about a dirty, loud place, and greasy, and you know what I'm saying? Lines of people working, you know, all that kind of stuff. Manufacturing has changed, huh?
It's changing, absolutely. I mean, the machines are becoming cleaner and smarter. The cost of having access to those machines are going way down. You know, we have these piece of equipment called a Carvey. It's a Chicago company called Inventables that created it. This is a tabletop milling machine, which is used to train kids in high school, used to do all sorts of crafts and early prototyping. For a student, even when like Austin Polytech was launching, one of these systems cost $25,000 a piece to purchase. The group Inventables has brought that cost down to $2,000. So
wow.
the access to equipment and materials and all that is becoming more democratized, where people can invent and create.
So tell me, how could you or how do you relate to 1871 or UI Labs?
Yeah, I mean, both are hugely important organizations in Chicago. 1871 is a digital incubator that launched about 5 years ago, really paved the way for what's going on in this entrepreneurial, not renaissance, but re-emergence in Chicago. Their companies there create a lot of like apps, software, sort of the digital-based entrepreneurship, where we're all physical products. We're the people who want tangible things, things you can hold. You know, it's anything from the devices in your home to, you know, future sort of technologies here. Where we overlap with them is in the new space, the Internet of Things, the connected devices. So with connected devices, you need both the things and the internet. And by having Chicago have these sort of talent pools of people making both, hopefully we're going to start creating new industries and new businesses, new job creators. UI Labs, they're an applied research facility that opened 2 years ago, largely funded by the Department of Defense, that was looking at creating digital manufacturing processes. So taking old manufacturing, embedding sensors to collect data, use that data to turn it into information so you can make decisions like whether there's defects, how you should be running the machines, like you know, energy usage, things like that, that you can cut some of the waste out of manufacturing. So they're all focused on the process of manufacturing. And again, where we're different is we make the things that would get manufactured. We make the products, they make the process more efficient. So again, in that sense of being good for Chicago, having those sort of assets here it's hugely important for our competitiveness.
So all of the people that come here, do all of them come from Chicago? Do they come from, you know, around the country, around the world? You know, have people tagged on to this lab yet?
Most of the people are coming from the Chicago region right now. We do have some corporates that have moved to Chicago because of this space.
Really?
Example would be GE Fuse. They used to be in Pennsylvania. We're looking for a facility to launch a new crowdsourcing platform for solving GE-related problems. So big billion-trillion-dollar problems that they figured their 300,000 people weren't enough to solve. They needed to collect into the collective mind of the world. And so they're throwing their problem statements out. It's anything from, you know, how to take images inside jet engines to make sure that you can monitor them and that they're safe to fly in the air, to monitoring pipelines and things like that. We also have a group that just moved here from San Francisco, It's an R&D team that does 3D printing, but utilizing a 5-axis robotic arm, and they're printing carbon fiber, which carbon fiber is sort of that holy grail of material in 3D printing. It's a very strong, cheap material, but it's very hard to print and create parts out of. So they're here. They'll be moving into one of our new garage labs to be developing products there.
So you have businesses actually moving here.
Absolutely.
So this is an incubator for businesses to have a place to move, but also have a place to advance their products.
Yep. Yeah, and the startups. I would say we're 70% entrepreneur, 30% industry. And we're really intentional about keeping sort of a balance there. I mean, it'll always be heavier the startup, the entrepreneur, the inventor, but industry has a very important role.
So the thing is, for them to get here, for them to grow, for them to move out, for the next person to come and take their place. And hopefully when they move out in my ward, in 27 ward, in my industrial area, right?
No, I mean, we're looking to, we're surveying the real estate all around us, and there's some interesting developments going on with the North Industrial Corridor as well that we want the companies seated here, so we're creating a new innovation center right here in Chicago.
So one of the things, because of all this innovation that's going on, and these new manufacturers evolving, I'm afraid that we're going to lose space for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge is a lot of our industrial areas is sort of being encroached by valuable land.
Absolutely.
Right? So how do you keep that balance?
Yeah.
How do you make sure planning know, hey man, you got to keep us some space there.
Yep.
Like for instance, UI Labs is in a hot area.
Yep.
Right? And we just did a thing where we changed some of the things around there, but we still have to keep space for even companies evolving from UI Labs,
Absolutely.
If they want to be close to companies like this, a space like these, that they could do more research and build a business or whatever the case may be. They may want to be close to you guys.
Absolutely. No, I think that's going to be hugely important as this area evolves. But you pointed out manufacturing is changing, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are in a manufacturing M1 through M3 permitted facility. That means we can do R&D here. That means we can do very dirty manufacturing on site. But we're a clean facility, and we have new apartment buildings, a new grocery store. We're able to be sort of embedded into communities.
So you don't necessarily have to be in a manufacturing district to do it.
Yeah. And some of those bigger manufacturers that are moving, like Finkel, who moved down to the south side, that's also important because some of the other areas of Chicago are starving for jobs in industry. Yeah. And I know the plan.
I think it's become cost prohibitive in some of these areas.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And it's going to be a careful balance. You look at,
but we still got to save space for these new manufacturers if they're coming back to the city.
Absolutely.
Right.
The ones that want to be here, that want to invest in this area, have to figure out how to do it. The ones that need to relocate, we need to make sure they don't leave Chicago.
So tell me this. So do you all have a plan for if some of these businesses grow?
Yeah.
For helping them find space?
Absolutely. We're looking at 2 buildings right now. One across the street, the old Proline Golf, and then there's another 6-story building right across from Prairie Materials.
Is that right?
Yeah, that we're looking to.
Right there.
Yeah. And it's not going to be mHUB property, but we want to know what's available, so when you do grow, you grow near us, and this stays sort of a center of gravity. Where you have access to the equipment, and then the 4 to 5 events we're having here every night around this industry.
You have 4 to 5 events?
Not every week, not every night.
Oh, okay. I'm like 4 to 5 events every night.
No, every week. Yeah.
Okay.
So examples of that. Women Bio had their meetup here. We have a group that meets every month on space-related technologies. The Black Women in STEM entrepreneurs meet here once a month. Basically, their next one Their next event's going to be in July, and it's all around drone technology. Their last one was on blockchain, so they do both meetups and education here. And then, mHUB does some things as well. Where, we're having on June 17th a HIBACon competition. HIBACon is Japanese for crappy robot. It's an international thing where you create essentially a device that moves. You're not creating a sophisticated robot. And then we pit these devices against each other in a sumo wrestling competition. But yeah, it's a free day here at mHUB. We can accommodate about 200 participants. Last year we had over 70. You have all the materials you need. You can be an inventor for the day, learn how to make a mechanical device, and then enter it into the competition. Last year we did it, a 6-year-old took second place. It was actually beautiful. So won $200. This year I think second place wins $250.
That's great.
The winner wins $500, but it's a fun day to just come and learn and get exposed to the resources.
Speaking of free,
yeah,
does it cost to utilize this space?
It does.
Okay.
There are 4 different membership classes. So the lowest is at $145 a month. With that, you have night and weekend access to the equipment shop. We have co-working, which is $300. Co-working, you have access to all the office space, but you don't have a reserved desk. You kind of sit wherever is open, but then you utilize the equipment when you need it. And then the reserved desks are $410 a month.
And that money helps to keep your program flourishing.
Absolutely. I mean, we're still heavily subsidized by corporate contributions. Like we're a 501c3 nonprofit ourselves, and the industry is paying for this place to live.
So who are your largest contributors?
It would be, Marmon Holding Group, Chamberlain, Aero Electronics, Underwriters Laboratory, GE, Chase Foundation, Autodesk. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of partners that have come to bear, and a lot more that are looking to join right now as well, because there's some interesting things going on.
That's great. Well, man, I think it's very impressive that you came up with this idea, capitalized off of somebody else who was doing it and partnered with them, and probably used a lot of your contacts to help raise the money, right? And made this thing solid. I mean, it's great. So I remember coming here for your grand opening with the mayor. There were all types of people here showing off their inventions, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible. It was just a smorgasbord of all types of creative ideas.
Absolutely.
I think I met a lady here who invented something. She had a thermostat or something in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I forgot what it was, but it's just things you never even thought of. I mean, it's just amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is a great place. I'm very happy that that it's here. Very unassuming still.
Yeah.
The people who know, but the people who don't know is like, what is mHUB?
Yep.
Yeah, but hopefully now people would know. So tell me, so if a person wanted to come and get involved or come here and start, what do they do?
I mean, first go to our website. You go to our events tab. There are tons of free events there.
What's your website?
It's www.mhubchicago.com. You go to the events tab. That's where you can find out information on things like the HIBACon, any sort of education workshop we're doing, those nightly activities. Those are all free. You don't need to be a member. There's also our monthly open houses that we throw. So this past Monday, we had 30 people come out to learn about 3D printing. We'll be scaling those over time, but another way of you getting access to learn about the equipment, start utilizing it before you're a member. And then, yeah, I mean, if it's right to be a member, there are lots of different options to joining.
Great. So folks just need to get on the website, want to come and be a member, come to this place to have a creation. Do folks have to like audition to get in here? Do they like to have to show you that they have a creation?
No, I mean, most people are coming here with the idea. There is a form that you fill out on the website, the Apply Now, and we just want to make sure that you're looking to develop a product, a physical thing, and then commercialize that. So that can be art as well. I know at that grand opening we had our artist Maxwell MKs present a piece that he had created on our laser printer to the mayor. He is making art with a physical product and selling it. He's an entrepreneur himself, so you know, probably one of our more successful ones in this place. And you know, it's exciting because he's turned this place into an art gallery as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, his art's everywhere.
So hopefully
no, and he's an amazing artist. I know he just did some work for the James Beard Award, like the restaurant. So he was making some of the centerpieces and some of the awards, and yeah, just a very innovative person. And yeah, not developing a product, developing art, and yeah, we want that as well here.
Fantastic. So, you know, a lot of these things sort of excite me some because my background, actually I went to college in school. My first 2 years I took up mechanical drafting.
Okay.
So, and tool and die design. So when I look at some of this equipment and look at the 3D, and you know, I'm like, man, this is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, that was, you know, many years ago. So it's like things have advanced a lot.
Absolutely.
Since then. But to see folks being so creative and things being so much quicker with technology and computers and easier and cleaner, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's just amazing that folks can literally come up with an idea and create it. You know, one of the ideas I had, and I know somebody already trying to do it, my concern is that the divvy bikes, there's no helmets.
Yep.
Right? So I'm like, somebody need to invent a disposable helmet that we can put in a vending machine, right? I don't know, would it blow up? If it blows up, would it be hard enough to take a certain amount of pressure?
Yeah.
You know, somebody probably will steal it. If you see it, you know, if somebody come out with one, it was my idea, right?
All right.
Maybe I should come here and try to invent that.
You should, yeah, absolutely.
But you know, but that's how folks get started, right?
Yeah.
They come up with these ideas and they try to do prototypes and.
Everybody's had an idea for a product.
Yeah.
Now they have resources to make it. And I know I'm like the least technical person in here. I'm the numbers guy on the team. But the community, the 189 people, they're where the talent is.
Yeah. I always think about when we were children, well, when I was a kid, everybody used to draw. I look at these cars. We all used to draw cars, right? We used to draw these sleek cars. And I gotta tell you, a lot of those cars we used to draw, it looked like they're making them now.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's, you know,
and they're 3D printing them.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's so you know, one should never limit their dreams and limit their ideas or their creativity.
Yeah.
So I think this is great that you've given folks an opportunity to utilize a space where they can make those dreams come true.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. And you, as a non-for-profit, you're always looking for money. I think when I came in here earlier, you were on the phone begging for money.
Absolutely.
So if folks wanted to contribute to your program or find out more information, what should they do?
You know, again, go to our website, or you can reach out to me anytime. My phone number, 312-248-8705. Email haven@mHUB Chicago. We are looking for partners, really to help build up the programming aspect and further lower that cost so people can come here and play.
Great. So so we told people about mHUB, we told them about this great space. Tell them where this space is.
We're located at 965. It's right in between Halstead and Milwaukee, 2 blocks east of the Chicago Blue Line stop.
So 965 West Chicago Avenue.
965 West Chicago.
Okay, so in the River West area, hot area. Okay, and again, the website, to go to the website,
is www.mhubchicago.com.
Okay, so could people just walk in? Because it seemed like you all have, you know, you got to have like a scanner to get inside all these rooms.
There's tours every single day if people are interested in checking out the space. You can go to our website, hit the tour tab, sign up for one, come learn about the technologies, the people that are here, and yeah, we just try to filter everybody into a certain hour in the day.
Well, Haven, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you sharing this information with us. Hopefully folks will take advantage of it and utilize this space and create some things. I know we have a lot of creative people here in the city of Chicago and or around the city of Chicago or throughout the country. This is a place to be. We want to thank you very much. We want to thank everyone for watching Network 27. I'm Alderman Walter Burnett. See you next month.